Hey there, Tiffany Thomas with wealthytiffany.com, and in today's video I'm going to teach you how I was able to get a credit score of 844 so that you can improve your own credit score. And before we dive in, if you are ready for financial freedom right now, comment freedom below in the comments, and if you're serious about fast-tracking your financial freedom, then click the link below this video in the description and I can help you do that. Alright, you guys, let's dive in and talk about how I was able to get a credit score of 844. And the reason that I want to talk about this topic is because having a good credit score is very important, because when you purchase the largest items like a house, a car, you want to have a good credit score so that you can get a really good interest rate and you can pay less for those items, for those large items. Okay, so let's talk about how I was able to get a credit score of 844. And there's a few things that are involved in your credit score. So let me just go over that list and then I'll tell you exactly what I did to improve my credit over time. So the first thing that's involved in your credit score is your hard inquiries. And this just means when someone is pulling your credit and it's a hard pull. Sometimes there are soft pulls and those don't affect your credit score. So if someone is saying, okay, it's going to be a hard pull on your credit, this will definitely affect your credit score. So if you are applying for a home mortgage, they will definitely do a hard inquiry on your credit. Or if you're applying for an auto loan, definitely a hard inquiry. And a credit card, that will be a hard inquiry as well. And there's a whole bunch of different items that are included in this, but those are the main ones. And then the second thing that is included in your credit score is your total number of accounts. So how many accounts you have open. So this would be once again, your mortgages. If you have more than one, I have more than one mortgage because I have rental properties. How many credit cards you have open, and different auto loans that you might have. Those are going to be taken into account when computing your credit score. So you don't want to have a whole bunch of those, but you want to make sure that you have enough so that you are actually building up your credit score. For example, I do have 11 accounts, but I didn't always have 11 accounts. So I mean, right now I have, a few different mortgages, a few different credit cards, an auto loan, and I used to just have a couple different credit cards and an auto loan. I didn't even have a mortgage, and I still had a really high credit score. So it really depends on a few other things that we're going to talk about. So it's not just how many accounts you have open, but you want to be aware of that. And when you open an account, usually you don't want to close that, because even if you're not using it or if you're rarely using it, because it can still add to your credit score. It can make that number higher because they can see, oh, you still have this account open and it's still in good standing. Okay, and then the third thing that goes into factoring your credit score is your age of your credit history. So you want to start this as early as possible. And I'm not saying get a credit card when you're 18 and max it out and don't pay it off. That's not at all what I'm saying. But you do want to start as early as possible so that you can start to build up your credit over time. Because the longer your credit history, the higher your credit score will be. Because they can see over time that yes, you've had all of these different accounts for a really long time and they're all in really good standing. So when you start to open a credit card or have a loan on an automobile, you want to make sure and take care of those. You want to pay those off. And the next thing that goes into computing your credit score, number 4, is derogatory marks. And this would be if you were sent to collections on an account, that would be a derogatory mark against your credit score, which is not good at all. You want to try to avoid those completely. And if you were to perhaps file bankruptcy, that would be another derogatory mark on your credit history. And then the fifth thing that goes into your credit score is your credit card utilization rate. And this one's really important because this can vary a lot. And this just means how much of your credit are you actually using? What percentage? So if you have different credit cards with different credit card limit amounts on them, you want to make sure you're not maxing all of them out, because you're going to have a really high credit card utilization rate. and you want to keep it below about 30% to still have a good credit score. And you can definitely keep it lower than that. For example, mine is only at 2% right now, and I'm going to tell you why later. But you want to keep this as low as possible and definitely under 30%, or that can really take a hit on your credit score. The last thing that goes into your credit score, the sixth thing, is your payment history, what that looks like. So if you are paying your bills on time or if you are not paying your bills on time, that will have an effect on your credit score. So if you pay your bills on time all the time, that is going to help increase your credit score. And this is just another important part of your credit score. So you want to make sure and pay your bills on time, that you can set up auto payments to help with that. I have a lot of my bills on auto payments, so that makes it a lot easier. I don't have to remember every month to do that. Okay, so those are the 6 things that go into computing your credit score. So let me talk about a few different strategies that I've used to get a credit score of 844, which I feel like is super great because the maximum is 850, so I'm really close to that maximum. So let me share with you just a few different things that I did to get that high credit score so that you can do them too. Okay, so the first thing that I did is I actually, when I was younger, maybe 18 or something, I did open a credit card at a clothing store. It was actually Maurice's. And I wasn't too familiar with credit cards and everything that went into computing your credit score. But I knew that I needed to build up my credit history somewhere. And it was pretty easy to get approved for that credit card. So I actually got approved for that. I was shopping at that store and I would honestly pay that credit card off in full every month by the payment date. So I never paid credit card interest. And I opened a few, I want to say maybe like one more credit card at the mall. And then later I got an auto loan. I bought my own vehicle. And I made sure that I never missed a payment on any of my bills. I always paid on time. And with every credit card that I had, I would pay that off in full every month. So that I would not have a late fee or accrue any interest. And I was able to build my credit that way, so you don't actually have to pay any interest on your credit cards to build up a good credit score. I know some people have said that, but I've never done that. I've never paid credit card interest, not once. And I have a great credit score. So that's not something you need to do. And then a few other things that I've done is, so when I got my first credit card, I would ask for an increase on that credit card. And there's some credit cards that will do a hard pull, like we talked about earlier, which is going to show on your credit when you ask for a credit limit increase. So if your credit limit is maybe at $5,000 and you want to increase that to $8,000, sometimes credit card companies will do a hard check on your credit and then increase your score, but some of them won't. And for example, the Discover card that I have, they don't do a hard pull to increase my credit limit. So every once in a while, I actually can just go into their app, and then at the top, it just says, request a credit line increase, and I'll click that button and fill out whatever questions they ask. It's very simple. And then they've instantly approved me for a credit line increase. So that is helping to reduce my credit card utilization rate that we talked about earlier. So I can have, I can put more bills or whatever on my credit cards and still keep that credit card utilization rate low because I keep asking for an increase on my credit limit. So if I'm only putting, $1,000 on all of my different credit cards and my total limit is $40,000, then I'm still keeping a low credit utilization rate, which is what we want. So that's one thing that I did. I asked for a credit limit increase to help boost my credit score. And another thing that I did was not open too many credit cards at once or have too many hard inquiries on my credit really close together. I kind of spaced them out. So, I had a credit card for a while, maybe a few years. I can't remember the exact dates. But then I decided, oh, maybe I'll get another credit card. So I had a Visa, I have a Visa and a Discover card in case somewhere doesn't take Visa or somewhere doesn't take Discover. And I applied for that second credit card, and usually they have a promotion going on. So they'll have a 0% interest rate on the credit card for a year, and also a sign-up bonus if you put like $500 on the credit card within 3 months. So I was able to, make $100 or $150 by opening up a new credit card and putting some expenses on there within that first 3 months. And I wouldn't have to pay off that balance in full. I would just have to make the minimum payment and still not pay interest because it had that introductory interest rate of 0% for a year. So I kind of planned that out. I didn't open a credit card every month, and try to quickly build up my credit score that way. I kind of waited for a while and then opened another credit card. Just so I didn't have all of those hard inquiries at once, because that will drop your credit score a little bit. And like I said before, I wanted to start as early as possible building up my credit because of the third thing that goes into your credit score, which is the age of your credit history. So the longer you can show that you have good credit history, the higher your credit score can go. So I wanted to open up accounts when I was younger and make sure and keep them in good standing, pay them off, and make payments on time, and do that over time so that I could build up my credit score. So that's another strategy. And then I've never had anything go to collections, and I've never filed bankruptcy either. So I don't have any derogatory marks on my credit. And those things will fall off. I think it's about 7 to 10 years. So, if you have derogatory marks, it's not the end all be all. Like, they'll eventually fall off your credit score and you can continue to build up your credit score. And just, I don't want you to think, oh, all is lost if I've already done that. Okay, so if you guys don't have a super great credit score right now, you can change that around. You really can. I know I've seen other examples of people doing that with their credit. So it is possible, and I just, wanted to share this video to hopefully give you some ideas on what you can start doing now if you haven't already been doing them, so that you can build it up over time. It's never too late. And like I said, you buy your most expensive items on credit usually, so you really want to make sure you have a good credit score so that you can have that good interest rate, that lower interest rate, so that you're paying less for those most expensive items. That's why it's so important to have a good credit score. And if you found this video helpful, please like it and share it with someone else who would like to hear this information. And you guys, I want to know how you're doing with your credit scores. If you are good where you are, or if you're still trying to build it up, comment below and tell me in the comments so we can help one another. And if you guys are serious about fast tracking your financial freedom, make sure and click the link below this video in the description so that I can help you do that. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That will really help me out. And comment below and tell me what other videos you guys would like to see, what kind of content you are interested in, and I can create those videos for you. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks!